Hi, and welcome to another video by Jim the Car Guy. This one is a follow-up to the video that I did, number 4. What the heck were these tools used for back in the 60s, 70s, and probably into the 80s also. This series here was actually, I'll start with the first one I did. Whenever you did a GM product, you could do the tune-up on it, and when it came to adjusting the points, you used the tool like this. Remember what this looked like? See? The end of it right there? What you would do is you would actually replace the points and condenser inside the distributor, and there was a little tiny access window. It was probably 1 inch by 1 inch. You would lift that window up, you would put this tool into the points just like this here. Now most of the time the radiator was right here, that's why it's flexible to go up like this. So you could actually hold it up like this and you could turn it, whether you're tightening it or loosening it, whatever you needed to. You would connect up that tool that I showed you on the third video I did. It was attack and dwell. What you would do is you would put the points in, you would have your assistant get in the vehicle and crank the car. You would watch your attack and dwell. If the attack and dwell didn't move at all, the car wouldn't start. Or if it was pinned the other direction, the car wouldn't start. You would have your assistant crank it while you put this tool in there, and you would turn it either left or right to open or close the points. And then once it got to a point where the car would start, usually at around 20, something like that, 20 to 40 degrees, it would actually start up. Once the car was running, you would take this tool and just turn it all the way until you got the points to be set to exactly 30 degrees on the dwell. And that's how you would set the points on a GM. Fords, Chryslers, American Motors, any vehicles like that was totally different. Those you had to adjust the points. You didn't use a tool like this. What you used to use was just a screwdriver to get in there and actually adjust the opening inside the points. What we used to use remember I said on the Fords, you needed to have the distance in between the two parts, the points themselves, the contacts. You used to take a feeler gauge like this, whatever it was 17 to 19, whatever it called for. You would actually take the points, open up the points all the way, and once they were open, you would take the feeler gauge and you would slide the gauge in between there. And you would have the piece sitting directly on the rubbing block so that the points would be open, and then you would adjust the points with this to whatever it was. And you would adjust them until you had a slight drag on it. You wouldn't adjust it so that the points would actually push open, but it had to have a little bit of a drag on it. Once you got that done, you would put it back together and you would start it up, and hopefully your dwell was right on the money and you were good to go. A lot of times it wasn't. A lot of times you had to shut it off and go back inside with a feeler gauge and do it again, because sometimes the points were just a little bit tighter than others. So that was the adjust that. Now, this one, remember I told you about this? You use this every tune-up. The reason you use this too is back in the day, there was very tiny little screws like this that used to hold the points in place and the condenser. Never failed. With the screwdrivers, you grab a magnetic screwdriver, you put it in there, and it would fall out of the magnetic screwdriver. What it did is on this one, I don't know if you can see that on the end right there, you would take the tool, I'm going to come a little closer so I can show you. You would take this tool here, and you would actually rotate this piece. There it is. Rotate it like that. You would take the screw, put it on the screw. It would be nice if I had my glasses. Put it on the screw just like that, push it, and you'd hear that little snap, and then the screw would be held in there. So now you could go inside, you could screw that screw down, all the way down as far as you wanted to, and once you got it to the point where it was fairly tight, you would turn it and you could pull it right off, and your screw would still be in the points or the condenser where it was supposed to be, and you wouldn't drop it. If you did drop it, the other end was a magnet. You could actually pick it right back up again. So this tool, remember you always see me with a pencil or a pen in this pocket. This tool was something you had here all the time, all day long. All right, so that one was very important and it worked perfectly. You take the thing, put it like this, take your screw, put it on, and that's it. It wouldn't come off. There was nothing you could do to get that screw off there. Upside down, sideways, whatever, that thing would not come off. Worked great, and I just haven't used it in a long time, but it is a very good tool. Okay, that was that. Okay. Next thing was this. After we used that tool that looked like the hole saw, the one for the carburetors to take out that screw on the bottom, that stainless steel cover I told you about, you would actually take this tool here, and that would go on the top of the adjustment screw down there, and you would actually just take it and adjust the screw as needed to make the car run a little bit richer, a little bit leaner, whatever it was. They had a couple of different size screws, that one and this one. And another one I found too is this one here. I didn't show you this one, but I just found this in my toolbox the other day, and that's how you would adjust it to make the idle speed so that the engine would actually run good after you did a tune-up. So, okay, that's it. That's the third one. And this one, truthfully, this one didn't work very well. I didn't care for this. I used it a few times, but not very often. Remember those covers I told you about? We used to drill those out. This was somebody's idea to actually drill through those covers. So you can drill through it. You would screw this in just like a dent puller in a car, like that. And you would take this and you would, and theoretically it would pull out. You couldn't drill into those covers. They were stainless steel. You couldn't drill them. So this, I don't even know if I ever used this thing, to be truthful with you. Very rarely, if anything. But these other tools here, these I used every day on every tune-up. And as you know, back in those days, a car would come in every 10 or 12,000 miles to be tuned up. Plugs, wires, cap, rotor, you know, the whole 9 yards. Today is not like that. Today you got 100,000 miles and you don't have to worry about, you know, doing that kind of maintenance on a car any longer. But they work great. I think that was all that I did on the fourth in a series of what the heck were these tools used for. So I think I'm all set with this, but that's what they were. All right, so as always, any questions or comments, or you need any advice, or anybody is working on an antique and they need information on how to use any of these tools, or they need any information on maintenance on these cars, you let me know. I'd be more than happy to talk to anybody about anything. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.